guys, as you can see, we're in the light today because I woke up and this annoyed me deep to my fucking soul that everyone's not smarter than they are. Anyway, I was sat there on the radio. I bricked my phone. I don't know what the fuck I did to it. I pressed a button too many times. Something happened to it. It didn't work. I was driving, yeah. I had to listen to AM radio. I'm not 104. I haven't listened to AM radio in my fucking life. I listened to the Australian head of human rights speak for half an hour. Now, my friends, have you ever listened to the Australian head of human rights speak? He is a snivelling, snot-nosed fucking coward. Now, I'll explain why, because I'm not just going to call him a coward and not explain to you why he is. During the half an hour I was talking, Pauline Hanson came up. He was talking about her, about how he disagrees with some of the things, but instead of having actual logical fact-based disagreements about Pauline Hanson's policies and what she says, he sits there and instead of saying the truth, he runs away from common sense and goes with this woke bullshit. Now, in case you haven't noticed, Mr. Head of Human Rights, I can't remember what his name was, but he pissed me off. I was really, really fucked off when I was listening to this clown. Now, Mr. Human Rights, do you not understand how the world's going at the moment? Are you so protected by your own little snivelling fucking snot-nosed job that all of a sudden, oh no, we don't have an issue with migrants. We don't have an issue with immigration. We don't have too much immigration. We have to take the refugees. We need the refugees. Why the fuck do we need the refugees? I understand, it's a horrible thing going through. We don't have the infrastructure, you dumb fuck. I get you're the head of human rights. I understand. You're not the head of economics. But you can't sit there and be so absolutely incapable of understanding who the fuck gives you your job. The people give you your job. I don't give a fuck about the immigrants. I don't give a fuck about the refugees. I don't care. I care about my fellow Australians. Now, I'll be honest, even that at some stages does dwindle because a lot of Australians are dumb fucks and I can't believe that, first off, I just can't believe how dumb some of them are. It baffles me, it dumbfounds me. It doesn't sink in, it does not compute in the computer system that is my mind. So, I do have my own issues with the Australian people. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, absolutely not. I just like to think I pay a little bit more attention than the Australian Aussie who's fucking sat there watching Netflix all day. Or TikTok. But that's a whole different video. I'll talk about TikTok in the future. But no, he's a snivelling snot-nosed coward. I even wrote notes. I got so angry I wrote notes on this cunt. He would honestly rather say anything to appease his higher-ups, appease the ones that, sit there and tell him what to say. He won't sit there and say anything that people actually agree with. Common sense. Fuck common sense. Let's stick with the refugees need someone to go. It doesn't matter if they're rapists. It doesn't matter if they're murderers. No, the refugees need somewhere. How about they fuck off anywhere else other than Australia? Look, go to the UK. They've got plenty of refugees. Look at the issue they're having. Can you not see what's happening to the world, you clown? But I understand. Everyone has to appease someone. I myself have clients. I myself have contracts. I myself have lawyers. I have to appease everyone. I understand. I will not hold it against him. He's still not fucking snivelling, snot-nosed coward, but I understand. I won't hold it against him. I hate him, but I won't hold it against him. Mainly because I can't remember what his fucking name was and it was on the radio, so I'll never see his face. And I don't have the interest to sit there and actually Google him and find anything out about this man because I don't associate with cowards. Now, let's go on to the interesting part. I've had my little rant for the last fucking 4 or 5 minutes about that. Let's go on to Pauline Hanson. The Red Devil. She, unfortunately, is probably the best bet for Australia. In the next 2 years, Labor's fucking... They have backtracked on this new budget that they've made, so much so, you can't backtrack more than what they have without canning the budget. They've done every single thing. Look at what their reforms to the budget are. and tell me they haven't backtracked as much as humanly possible without saying, we fucked up. Just say you fucked up. Say you fucked up and throw the cunt out the window. You know, what is the issue? Anyway, that's a whole different conversation that is just a little bit too close to getting me put in jail. I've got some things to say on that. I've got some things that I know to be the truth, but I'm not going to. You got to use this sometimes. So, Pauline Hanson, I'll be honest. She was hot in the 90s. I'd have fucked her in the 90s. She's 70 years old now. I would have fucked her in the 90s. But now, she sits there and says the things that is just common sense. She's not actually saying... She's using the exact same method Andrew Tate... Now, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate. I've made a lot of money off Andrew Tate. She's using the same method. She says the right things. She just says it in a way you don't like. And all of you are too dumb to realise this. Actually listen to what she's saying. Pretend she's a pretty person. Someone should AI Kate Upton saying what Pauline Hanson says. And then everyone will go, oh no, that makes a lot of sense. I understand that. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the reforms. First off, did you know 70 to 80% of the entire tobacco industry of sales is from the illegal market in Australia? Now, last time I went to school, which wasn't that fucking long ago, let me tell you, 80%'s a lot. They have the Australian Tax Office themselves has turned around and said, we can't even work out how much money we're losing from the illegal tobacco industry. If the Australian Tax Office, what I would make a very solid argument to say is one of the nastiest and most informed fucking things, entities in Australia, doesn't know, okay, we've got a serious issue that no one's talking about. We have a serious issue the government's not talking about, because everyone else is talking about this. It's just the government's too dumb and fucking arrogant to sit there and understand that they're fucked up. You can't put an already struggling economy, I don't give a fuck what the GDP says. You can't make a struggling economy pay more tax on shit. Are you retarded? Obviously, they are. And I feel bad for saying that because I feel bad for retards. I apologise for comparing you to our government. They're clowns. They're fucking idiots. Anywhere else in the world. Listen, in Australia, you can't fucking smoke. A packet of 20 smokes is about $40 to $50 depending what it is. I could buy the exact same one in Europe for about €4, which is roughly $6.30, roughly, Australian. So that you're telling me there's a 300% markup that's pure tax. I myself ordered cigars, 120 of them, 2.7 kilos of cigars, a lot of cigars. I paid from Absolute Cigars, a little bit of a shout out, in the US, I paid 1.2 thousand Australian dollars, including shipping and shipping insurance. My tax on these cigars was 6,000 Australian dollars. That's the tax alone. That's the excise, which is lower because I'm shipping them in. So that's not even included if you go to the shops, they put a markup on that because they need to make a profit. Understandably, as a businessman, you have to make a profit. But the tax is killing it. You can't have 30% of the population because there's not that much of the population that smokes these days. But vapes, what are the things that you put in your teeth? In your gums? I don't know. Can't remember. They're little pouches. Nicotine pouch things. Now, you can't buy them unless you go illegally. How fucking dumb can you be as the government? Let's make vapes illegal because kids are doing it. Kids are still doing it, you fucking idiots. It's not hard to get a vape. I despise the fucking shit. I think it's a very good way to kill yourself. I smoke cigars. But I know what's in a cigar. It's a tobacco leaf. What's in a vape, fuck knows. So, I don't disagree. I think they're horrible things and I think kids shouldn't do it. So, as a grown man, if I want a fucking vape, I should be able to go buy a vape. As a child, you still shouldn't be able to buy a vape, but they can buy a vape easier through the illegal market because they don't care about IDs and shit. So there's my little gripe with that. So the 50% tax cut's a good step in the right direction with Pauline Hanson's thing. Now, I'll be honest, she used to run a fish and chip shop. She's not a businesswoman. She used to run a fish and chip shop. There's a difference between a businesswoman and a fish and chip shop. I understand people are sitting there saying, at least she has some real world experience. I get that. She's not a career politician. That's brilliant. But she ran a fish and chip shop. Let's not fucking put her on a massive pedestal because she ran a fish and chip shop. Still, massive respect. Fish and chips hard. I have no doubt. I've never fucking ran a fish and chip shop, but I've got absolutely no doubt as a businessman myself that it could be hard. Now, I had to write this down. She's going to abolish this net zero shit by 2050. Brilliant. That is a fucking genius. We're wasting so much money that's not even funny. Let's get the fuck back to mining our actual natural resources. Now, this actually goes into the next one because we have race-based governing agencies. Now, myself, I didn't even know we had race-based governing agencies. If I'm being 100% honest, I didn't even know this was a fucking thing till I googled Pauline Hanson's reforms. And yeah, let's fuck them off. What a waste of fucking money. You know, why should we have certain races have different rules than everyone else? It's dumb. Everyone needs to follow the same fucking rules. Welcome to the fucking real world. Now, with this, I do have a little bit of a gripe. Now, I understand the Aboriginal people of Australia have a claim to, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. But if it actually detriments the Australian economy, such as the uranium mine that we have in Western Australia, the uranium that we should be mining, my apologies, that we have in Western Australia that we can't because it's sacred land, man, the percentage of actual people living off the land as the ancient Aboriginal people did is so fucking few and far between that, do you know what? Let's benefit the other 27 million Australians and mine the fucking shit. Let's sack this idea of, you know, this is your land, this is ours. That's just more segregation. It's fucking stupid. And it's actually detrimental. We have one of the biggest uranium storages in the fucking world. And we don't mine it, nor do we use it because of this some bullshit like this. Again, I'm not going to get into it because I can just see myself getting called racist. I'm not racist. I quite frankly have a lot of respect for everyone. As long as they show respect to me. I don't really give a fuck if you're black, white, pink, orange, yellow. I don't care. I really don't give a fuck. If you and I, if you show respect to me, I'll show respect to you. We can do business together. I don't care. I don't buy into this fucking race-based bullshit. And neither should you, really. Like, this race, it's another way that the fucking elites are segregating is anyone with money and half a fucking brain understands that, you know, if a black guy wants to do a deal with me, I don't give a fuck as a white guy. If we can make money together and I can see us prospering and benefiting either each other's families and or the greater need, I don't care if you're black, white, pink, or fucking red. I'll do a deal with anyone. It makes no difference. We're all the same fucking people, realistically. The difference is, the governments don't want us to know this. They want us separated. They want us separate. So we fight each other. And maybe I'm the only one that's noticing this. But it's fucking dumb. So, I'll leave that there before I get called a racist piece of shit, bigot, yada, yada, yada. Now, with the economy, she is going to cut the fuel excise by 50%. Now, in Australia, we've already had this during this Iran war. What a waste of fucking time. Yes, it's a step in the right direction again, but fuel's already taxed with the excise and then it's taxed again with the GST. So either fuck it off or let's get more fuel so we aren't fucking our fellow people. But yes, it's a good step in the right direction because 50% of the excise is fucking ridiculous. We pay far too much tax in this miserable fucking country. There's a lot of young people leaving and I can't believe I have to say this. But if something doesn't change, young people aren't going to stay here. It makes no sense. I own my house and have a business here. And I consider fucking leaving. I'm not one of the poor guys struggling to make ends meet. I do quite well. I can afford to go out to eat and have a couple of drinks if I want. I don't, but I can. And the ability to is what separates everything. These poor bastards living paycheck to paycheck and still getting fucked. Well, the government's not going to help them. But the government doesn't have to take every single fucking aspect of hope they can possibly have. So yes, the fuel, you know, she's going to cut government spending. That'll help. Then she's going to fuck off this fuel excise, the tobacco tax cuts. It's all a step in the right direction. Is it going to make much of a fucking difference? No. And then the last one, there was something, I didn't write it down, but there was something about the housing market. Do you know how you can help the housing market, you fucking clowns? Get rid of stamp duty. $1 million house, the stamp duty on that's roughly 50 to 60,000. I don't know the exact. I don't even know how they work stamp duty out, if I'm being honest. But the stamp duty alone is 50 to 60 grand. So if you're buying $1 million house, all of a sudden that's $1,060,000, and you can't borrow that money from the bank. They make you take that out of your deposit. How fucking dumb is that? So fuck that off. I can give you the tip. That'll help a lot of people. Let me have a little coffee break. I'm quite parched. This has really worked me up. I'm pissed off. Beautiful. Now, Pauline Hanson also wants pulls out of the health fucking organisation thing, Health World Organisation, I think it is. I don't think that's the worst idea. I don't agree with the fact that, some of her stances on vaccines and shit. Vaccines have been one of the single most important things that the human race has ever developed. I understand, look, they pushed the limits in Australia making mandatory vaccines, like the COVID vaccine being mandatory, absolutely criminal. Me, myself, I had to get it. I got a family, I had a business. I had to get the jabs so I could work. I am not in a position where I could sit there and go, fuck you. So that was wrong. That was fucked up. They overstepped there. That was the beginning of where people started going, what the fuck is going on? But also, most of the people are too fucking dumb to realise that was a big fucking farce to see how far they could push the limits. Again, we won't get in there. That's just getting into conspiracy. We're talking facts. Look, pulling out the World Health Organization won't kill us. We're still going to be a part of it in some degree. We're one of the bigger developing nations in the world. So, developed, fucking will be developing soon is what we'll be classified as. But, again, we digress. So, look, as far as it goes, Liberals fucking sitting there. Liberals are conservative for any American watchers anyways, the Conservative Party. They're sat there going, holy shit, we need to say the right things or else we're going to get no seats. So no one's even going to look their way. To be honest with you, I don't even know what Liberal are fucking sitting there doing. They're basically turned into the Greens. Labor are just fucking the country. They have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Every Labor government always fucking goes too far towards healthcare and looking after the lowest of the low class. One of the first things they did, I'll give you an example. Up the minimum wage. That's a great idea, in theory. But what does upping the minimum wage actually have? What are the actual issues with upping the minimum wage? Well, let me fucking tell you. Because I'm a businessman, I know this shit. Upping the minimum wage, well, I'm not going to cop that on the chin. I'm just going to raise my prices an extra fucking however much it does to break even. So, 18% of the population, and you nearly fucking quote me, because I'm pretty sure it's 18.7% of the population, or it was back then, is on minimum wage. So 18% of the population goes, awesome. The other 80% of the population are sat there going, okay, that's nice, but now we have to pay extra. Doesn't work. You're all idiots. Same as this fucking idea that upping the interest rates, 34% of people, I believe, have a mortgage. Upping the interest rates doesn't prop up the other 66%. And the 66% are the ones that, with this boom, have actually increased their net value of their own person a lot. If you own 2 houses in my area, you could have bought them in 2019 for $500,000. Now your average house is $1 million, if not more. So if you own 2 or 3, which a lot of people at 50 to 60 did, you're now a multi-millionaire. How the fuck can the younger generation of 40 and under, because that's what most people have when they have a mortgage, they're 40 and under, prop up the people that have just made multiple millions over the last 5-6 years? It doesn't make logical fucking sense. And I'm 23 years old. That's a lie, I'm 22. I'm 23 next month. Happy birthday to me. But I'm 22 years old. I know this. So how the fuck does everyone else not? Do your research. Stop talking about fucking dumb shit. Stop talking about Netflix. Stop talking about The Witcher. Learn. Think. Think for yourselves. Don't let the government think for you. That's what they want. They want sheep. They want you to think. Think for yourself. Sit there and go, I think that's fucking bullshit. Why do I think that's bullshit? I think that's bullshit because I've seen this. It's simple. It's so simple yet so effective. Now, guys, that's my little rant. I was fucked off earlier. So I had to get it off my chest. I figure anyone that wants to know will know. If you know, you know. Isn't that how it goes? Now, guys, hit that sub button because I like to help people. I like to help you guys. I like to give you a bit of information. I also like to rant a little bit, as you can tell. Now, go do your research, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.